Here are some basic rules about clashing in Arcana Heart, which might differ from other games. Like most games, you can cancel attacks into other attacks during clash exchanges. Unlike most games, you cannot cancel into the same normal button. Watch closely, you see that if you hold a direction, it automatically cancels into neutral standing button, in between crouch and directional buttons. In the air however, you can cancel into the same strength normal. You can also cancel into specials, grabs, or movement options but not block. If you do nothing and have a multi-hit clash move, the rest of the hits will come out. These options are often fast enough to beat most options, so it's often best to not do anything but let clash hits confirm into things. If you clash a hit, it usually cancels the immediate hitbox, so it can make moves safe. Now for the trickiest thing to understand about Arcana Heart's clash system. Not all moves are clashable and not all clashable moves have hitboxes. Arcana's Woman, and Blocking and Lightning Extend Force are examples of clashable moves without hitboxes. And clash boxes can sometimes be deceptive. Lightning E buttons famously have startup clash frames, before their active hitboxes, and the hitbox comes out in 3 frames of button release. Note how the release of Dark Heart's E button actually hit Pistrix before she even lands on the ground here. Other examples of clash boxes that precede hitboxes include Minori and Dark Heart's 5C. And here's some examples of how they can be used. Saki's Seabroniac has startup clash frames, but the actual hitbox is unclashable, while her A and B versions do not share this property. This means it would trade, lose or win in some situations instead of clashing. Sometimes things can get really weird, like with how Kathy's lariats have a clash box on her fists, but her body is unclashable, but armor certain moves. Kira's 2C is clashable at closer range but unclashable at the tip. Knowing these, here's some ways you can use clashing in your strategy. Lightning E buttons are the easiest examples of a clash strategy that can option select many options. Since Charge E is an air and blockable, and also potentially guard breaks, if they attack you on startup, you can often predict it react with several clash options. Conversely, if you think your opponent is using this strategy, you can make the read and respond with your own clash options. Now let's analyze some clips from some high-level players playing subs. Notice how Tomopi here is playing Lightning Arcana, so he often uses the E button to force clashing into options. They are normally really hard to react to, but if you predict them and force them, they often become reactable. It's also important to note that neither of these two characters have too many unclashable options. And see how Hansan responds by mashing fast buttons and using DPs. Since fast buttons can sometimes clash or beat some options, and DPs often clash into more options or beat certain options. And another possible strategy is delaying your approach to hit E after its clash frames and get a counter hit confirm. Also note Dark Heart's Super DP does not really have info, but a lot of clash hits, which makes it almost impossible to win against in a clash situation. But not every interaction has to end up clashing to be favorable. One thing that makes Kira such a unique grappler is how you can clash into command grabs with a lot of her buttons. A lot of her buttons have startup clash frames. And her 4-1-2-3-6A also has startup clash frames before the grab. In this exchange you see I mashed a fast button for a while and jumped out, since I was worried about getting grabbed. At the same time she's got a lot of unclashable buttons that would force you to change strategy of clashing attacks, such as 2C from some ranges, and jumping E in general. This is why I couldn't clash out of the Soki situation, and the Kira player used 2C a lot. In addition to ignoring clash options, unclashable moves can also be used to punish forward guard cancels, since they ignore the clash shield past the initial invulnerability frames, and they are often too active to respond with different options. This is why Plant Charlotte is so infamously polarizing, because so many of her normals, specials and plant vines are all unclashable. There's some really specific times you can guard cancel, while she's also often too far away to get hit. And of course sometimes it's good to use a clashable move, such as how you see Arcana's super is an unclashable and gets her hit here, while her non-super version would clash a projectile and protect her. It's even possible to cancel the clash into an action, though timing is difficult. Kira's jumping A is clashable here, while E is unplashable. Some particular moves such as Fenrir bullets may have unique interactions with clash boxes. I will not go over every situation to when things will clash and every strategy, as this is a really advanced topic that I am honestly learning about as I play as well. But to summarize most things, moves with startup clash frames and multi-hit clash moves are really good for option selecting certain things. You can often predict when something will clash and be prepared to respond with an option of choice. You can forcefully clash some moves to make them safe, but unclashables can really fuck with that strategy, and what clashes and doesn't clash can be pretty confusing itself.